In the golden days of Hollywood, big mansions and fancy estates were more than just houses. They were symbols of fame, wealth, and the glamorous lives of the stars who lived in them. These grand homes saw the joys, sorrows, and secrets of some of the most famous people in entertainment history. But as time went on, many of these luxurious homes faced uncertain futures. Some were torn down, while others changed a lot. In this video, we will explore the stories of several of these mansions. We'll look at the lives of the stars who owned them and what happened to these historic places. Elizabeth Taylor's Bel Air Mansion. No doubt Elizabeth Taylor was one of the most famous actresses of the 20th century. Born in 1932 in London, she moved to the United States as a child and began acting at a young age. With her striking violet eyes and undeniable talent, she quickly became a star, appearing in classic films like National Velvet, Cleopatra, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Over the years, Taylor's personal life was often in the spotlight, with multiple marriages and high-profile romances that captivated the public. By the early 1980s, Elizabeth Taylor was going through a significant transition in her life. She had just divorced Richard Burton for the second time, a relationship that had been both passionate and tumultuous. Her film career was slowing down, and she was looking for stability and a place to call her own. In 1982, she found that place in a grand mansion located at 700 Nimes Road in the exclusive neighborhood of Bel Air, Los Angeles. The mansion was originally built in 1960 and first owned by Nancy Sinatra, the first wife of legendary singer Frank Sinatra. The property was situated in Bel Air, one of Los Angeles's most prestigious areas, known for its luxury homes and celebrity residence. Bel Air offered privacy and seclusion, which was essential for someone of Taylor's fame. Elizabeth Taylor purchased the mansion in February 1982 for $2 million, which would be about $6.3 million today when adjusted for inflation. The house was expansive, with 6 bedrooms, including 2 master suites, and 6 bathrooms. The property covered 1.27 acres, featuring beautiful gardens, a koi pond, and a sparkling turquoise swimming pool. The lush landscaping provided a serene environment where Taylor could relax and entertain guests away from the public eye. Elizabeth Taylor was known for her exquisite taste and love of art and jewelry. She transformed the mansion into a reflection of her personal style. The interior was designed by Waldo Fernandez, who later worked with other celebrities like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Taylor chose white carpets and a color palette of blues and lavenders, matching her famous violet eyes. She filled the home with precious artwork, including impressionist paintings and a notable piece by Vincent van Gogh, View of the Asylum and Chapel at Saint-Rémy. This painting held special significance and was displayed in her living room for nearly 5 decades before being auctioned in 2012 for nearly $16 million. Her father's career as an art dealer influenced her appreciation for fine art, and she collected pieces by famous artists like Matisse, Pissarro, and Renoir. Despite the opulence, the home was described as warm and welcoming. Taylor wanted guests to feel comfortable, not worried about damaging valuable items. Personal items added warmth to the home. Family photographs adorned the walls, and treasured mementos were carefully placed throughout the rooms. Even her wardrobe reflected her unique style, with closets filled with designer clothes and accessories that mirrored her glamorous public image. One of the most enchanting features of the mansion was the garden. Elizabeth Taylor had a deep connection to her British roots and wanted to recreate an English-style garden in her Los Angeles home. She worked with landscape designer Nicholas Walker to achieve this vision. Despite the challenges of Southern California's dry climate, they managed to create a vibrant garden with year-round color. The garden was filled with roses, pansies, and other flowers that added beauty and fragrance to the property. It was a place where Taylor hosted Easter egg hunts and family gatherings, creating joyful memories with her children and grandchildren. The garden also featured sculptures, including a bronze calf created by her daughter, Liza Todd. The outdoor space was not just for show. It was a living, breathing part of the home where Taylor could connect with nature. She enjoyed spending time there with her pets, including dogs, cats, and even a parrot named Alvin. The garden provided a peaceful retreat where she could escape the pressures of fame. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Elizabeth Taylor continued to act selectively, appearing in films and television shows. She received critical acclaim for her performance in the play The Little Foxes, demonstrating her versatility as an actress. However, she found a new calling as a passionate advocate for AIDS awareness and research. After losing several friends to the disease, she co-founded the American Foundation for AIDS Research, AMFAR, in 1985, and later established the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation in 1991. Her efforts helped raise millions of dollars and brought much-needed attention to the cause. She received numerous honors for her humanitarian work, including the Presidential Citizens Medal. Elizabeth Taylor lived in her Bel Air mansion until her passing on March 23, 2011, at the age of 79. The home was not just a place to live, but a sanctuary where she could find peace and happiness. It was filled with personal items, photographs, and memories that reflected her remarkable life. In recent years, the mansion faced the threat of demolition. A developer purchased the property with plans to tear down the historic home and build a modern structure in its place. This news alarmed fans, historians, and preservationists who recognize the cultural and historical significance of Elizabeth Taylor's beloved residence. Efforts were made to save the mansion, with many arguing that it should be preserved as a landmark. The fate of the property became a symbol of the ongoing struggle between preserving important pieces of history and the push for new development in growing cities like Los Angeles. As of now, the future of Elizabeth Taylor's Bel Air mansion remains uncertain. The debate highlights the importance of recognizing and protecting places that hold significant cultural value, not just for their architectural beauty but for the stories and memories they embody. Marion Davies and the Santa Monica Beach House. Marion Davies was a talented actress and a prominent figure in early Hollywood. Born in 1897 in Brooklyn, New York, she began her career as a chorus girl on Broadway before transitioning to silent films. She became romantically involved with William Randolph Hearst, a powerful newspaper publisher and one of the wealthiest men in America at the time. Their relationship was both personal and professional, and together they embarked on grand projects. In 1926, they decided to create a magnificent mansion in Santa Monica, California. The property, located on the beach, was to be a symbol of luxury and a place where they could entertain the elite of Hollywood and high society. They hired Julia Morgan, a renowned architect who also designed Hearst Castle in San Simeon, California. Morgan was one of the first prominent female architects in the United States and was known for her innovative designs and attention to detail. The Santa Monica Beach House was an opulent estate with over 100 rooms. It featured tennis courts, guest houses, and a lavish marble swimming pool. The design was a blend of Mediterranean and Georgian Revival styles, with grand halls, intricate woodwork, and luxurious furnishings. The property covered 5 acres of beachfront, offering stunning views of the Pacific Ocean. The interiors were filled with treasures collected by Hearst and Davies during their travels. Antique furniture, priceless artworks, and rare artifacts adorned the rooms, creating an atmosphere of elegance and sophistication. The mansion was not just a home, but a showcase of art and culture. Marion Davies was known for her charm and hospitality. The beach house became the epicenter of Hollywood's social scene in the 1920s and 1930s. She hosted extravagant parties that were attended by the biggest stars of the time, including Charlie Chaplin, Greta Garbo, Clark Gable, and many others. The parties were legendary, featuring lavish decorations, live music, and elaborate themes. One famous event was a circus-themed party where guests were entertained by performers and enjoyed a whimsical atmosphere. Another was a Venetian masquerade ball, complete with gondolas and costumes. These gatherings were not just social events, but grand spectacles that reflected the glamour of the era. The beach house was also a place of creativity and collaboration. Writers, artists, and filmmakers mingled, sharing ideas and inspiring one another. The estate provided a private and secure environment where celebrities could relax away from the public eye. Despite the opulence, Marion Davies had a generous heart. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, she used her wealth to help those in need. She often offered meals and financial assistance to friends and colleagues who were struggling. She hosted charitable events and was known for her kindness and willingness to support others. Her generosity extended to hosting children from orphanages and providing them with joyful experiences. She understood the impact of giving back and used her resources to make a positive difference in people's lives. By the 1940s, as World War II cast a shadow over the world, the lavish lifestyle of the beach house began to fade. The war brought changes to society, and the grand parties became less frequent. Financial challenges also emerged due to increased taxes and shifts in the economy. In 1945, Marion Davies sold the beach house due to a property tax dispute and changing circumstances. The property changed hands and was eventually turned into a hotel and beach club called the Ocean House, and later the Sand and Sea Club. However, the main mansion was demolished in 1956, a decision that saddened many who valued its historical and architectural significance. The site was later turned into a parking lot, erasing much of the physical evidence of the estate's glamorous past. In 2005, the Annenberg Foundation, a philanthropic organization, invested in restoring part of the site. With a significant financial contribution, they worked to create the Annenberg Community Beach House, which opened in 2009. This project preserved the original guest house and the swimming pool from Marion Davies' estate. Today, the Annenberg Community Beach House serves as a public space where people can enjoy the beach, attend events, and learn about the history of the site. It offers recreational facilities, art exhibits, and educational programs. The preservation of the guest house provides a tangible connection to the past. The story of Marion Davies and the Santa Monica Beach House is a reminder of a bygone era of glamour and generosity. While the grand mansion no longer stands, the legacy of Marion Davies and the cultural significance of the estate continue to be celebrated and remembered. The site represents both the grandeur of Hollywood's golden age and the importance of preserving history for future generations. Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood home. Marilyn Monroe was one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood history. Born Norma Jean Mortensen in 1926, she rose to fame in the 1950s with her captivating beauty, charm, and acting talent. She starred in classic films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Some Like It Hot, and The 7-Year Itch. Despite her success, Monroe faced personal struggles, including troubled relationships and battles with mental health. In early 1962, seeking a fresh start and a place of her own, Marilyn Monroe purchased a modest Spanish-style home in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. She paid $75,000 for the property, which would be about $780,000 today when adjusted for inflation. This was the only home she ever owned independently, marking a significant step in her desire for stability and control over her life. The house was a charming one-story building constructed in 1929. It featured thick adobe walls, red tile roofing, and was designed in the L-shaped layout typical of Spanish colonial revival architecture. The property was secluded at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac, providing privacy from the public and the press. Inside, the living room had vaulted ceilings with wooden beams and a cozy fireplace. Marilyn Monroe decorated the home with Mexican furniture, art, and tiles that she personally selected during trips to Mexico. The decor reflected her appreciation for simplicity and authenticity. The kitchen was remodeled to suit her tastes, including a quaint breakfast nook where she could enjoy quiet moments. The master bedroom opened onto the lush backyard, offering a peaceful retreat. The house had 2 bedrooms, and there was a small guest house on the property, which Monroe was renovating at the time of her death. The backyard featured a kidney-shaped swimming pool and a garden filled with citrus trees and flowers. Monroe enjoyed spending time outdoors, relaxing by the pool and tending to her garden. The home provided a sense of tranquility that she deeply valued. Tragically, Marilyn Monroe lived in the Brentwood home for only 6 months. On the evening of August 4, 1962, she died from a drug overdose in her bedroom. Her death was ruled a probable suicide, though it has been the subject of much speculation and conspiracy theories over the years. Her passing at the young age of 36 shocked the world and marked the end of a bright but troubled life. The home, as the site of her death, became a poignant symbol of her struggles and the pressures of fame. Over the decades, the Brentwood home changed hands multiple times. Some owners preserved the property, while others made renovations. In recent years, new owners planned to demolish the historic structure to expand their adjacent estate. This sparked a public outcry from fans, historians, and preservationists who wanted to save the home due to its cultural and historical significance. Legal battles ensued, with efforts to have the house designated as a historic cultural monument. Supporters argued that the home was a tangible link to Marilyn Monroe's life and legacy, and that demolishing it would erase an important piece of Hollywood history. The Los Angeles City Council intervened, with council member Tracy Park leading the efforts to protect the property. In June 2024, the council voted unanimously to designate the house as a historic cultural monument. This designation provided legal protection, preventing the demolition of the home and recognizing its importance as a cultural and historical site. The decision was celebrated by fans and preservationists who saw it as a victory for historical preservation and a tribute to Marilyn Monroe's enduring legacy. Pickfair, Hollywood's most popular mansion. Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks were two of the biggest stars in early Hollywood. Mary Pickford, known as America's Sweetheart, was one of the most successful actresses of the silent film era. Douglas Fairbanks was famous for his swashbuckling roles in films like The Mark of Zorro and The Thief of Baghdad. Together, they formed Hollywood's original power couple. In the early 1920s, they purchased a 15-acre estate in Beverly Hills, California. They wanted to create a home that reflected their status and offered a luxurious retreat from the demands of their careers. They named the estate Pickfair, a combination of their last names. They hired architect Wallace Neff, who was known for his innovative designs blending Spanish colonial and Mediterranean styles. Pickfair was transformed into a grand mansion featuring leaded glass windows, parquet floors, and ceilings adorned with murals. The house had 2 elegant wings, an L-shaped porch, and a copper roof with ornate ironwork. The estate included stables, tennis courts, a swimming pool, one of the first in Los Angeles, and even an underground jogging track. The interiors were decorated with 18th-century art and antiques collected from around the world. The living room showcased furniture from the time of Louis XVI, and the walls were adorned with masterpieces. Personal touches made the home unique. Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks filled the rooms with items that reflected their interests and travels. The mansion was not just a display of wealth, but a reflection of their personalities and passions. During the 1920s and 1930s, Pickfair became the social center of Hollywood. Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks were known for hosting lavish parties and gatherings that attracted celebrities, politicians, and royalty. Guests included Charlie Chaplin, Albert Einstein, Amelia Earhart, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and even President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The estate was often compared to a palace, and it symbolized the glamour and opulence of Hollywood's golden age. An invitation to Pickfair was highly coveted, and the events held there were the stuff of legend. One memorable event was a party where guests arrived dressed as historical figures, adding a touch of whimsy and creativity. The gatherings were opportunities for networking, collaboration, and simply enjoying the company of peers in a magnificent setting. However, the couple's marriage began to deteriorate in the 1930s. They divorced in 1936, and the vibrant social life at Pickfair diminished. Mary Pickford continued to live at the estate with her third husband, Charles Buddy Rogers, but she became increasingly reclusive. After Pickford's death in 1979, the estate was sold to Jerry Buss, the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. In 1988, actress Pia Zadora and her husband Meshulam Riklis purchased Pickfair for $6.7 million. In a controversial move, they demolished most of the original mansion in 1990, citing termite damage and alleged hauntings as reasons. The demolition sparked public outrage, as many saw it as the destruction of an important piece of Hollywood history. Douglas Fairbanks Jr., the son of the original owner, publicly expressed his dismay. The new owners built a modern mansion on the site, but the loss of Pickfair was mourned by fans and historians alike. Pickfair remains a symbol of Hollywood's golden age and the larger-than-life personalities that shaped the entertainment industry. Though the original mansion is gone, its story lives on in books, documentaries, and the collective memory of a bygone era. The fate of Pickfair highlights the challenges of preserving historic properties, especially when ownership changes hands and new owners have different visions. It serves as a reminder of the importance of protecting cultural landmarks for future generations. The Garden of Allah Hotel. The Garden of Allah Hotel was a legendary establishment that opened in 1927 on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood. Originally, it was the private estate of silent film actress Alla Nazimova. She transformed her home into a hotel to cope with financial difficulties, creating a unique and luxurious retreat. The hotel consisted of Spanish-style villas set amidst lush gardens and featured an iconic swimming pool shaped like the Black Sea, reflecting Nazimova's Russian heritage. The Garden of Allah offered privacy and comfort, attracting the brightest stars and creative minds of the time. The Garden of Allah became a haven for celebrities, writers, musicians, and artists. Notable guests included F. Scott Fitzgerald, Ernest Hemingway, Dorothy Parker, Humphrey Bogart, Errol Flynn, Greta Garbo, and many others. Writers and intellectuals found inspiration there. The hotel was known for its lively social scene with impromptu gatherings, discussions, and parties that often lasted late into the night. It was a place where creativity flourished and boundaries were pushed. F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote parts of his final novel, The Last Tycoon, while staying at the hotel. The atmosphere of the Garden of Allah provided a rich backdrop for his writing, capturing the essence of Hollywood's allure and complexity. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, the Garden of Allah epitomized Hollywood glamour. The hotel's atmosphere was relaxed and bohemian, allowing guests to be themselves without the pressures of public scrutiny. The mix of personalities and talents led to collaborations and friendships that influenced literature, film, and music. The hotel's bar and pool area were central to its social life. Tales of wild parties and romantic escapades became part of its legend. It was a place where the lines between reality and fiction often blurred, adding to its mystique. The Garden of Allah was more than a hotel. It was a microcosm of Hollywood itself. It captured the spirit of an era marked by innovation, creativity, and a touch of rebellion against conventional norms. By the 1950s, the hotel's popularity began to wane. Changes in the entertainment industry, shifting social norms, and the development of new luxury accommodations led to a decline in guests. The Garden of Allah struggled financially and eventually changed ownership. In 1959, the decision was made to demolish the hotel to make way for a bank building. The loss of the Garden of Allah was seen by many as the end of an era. It represented not just the demolition of a building, but the disappearance of a cultural landmark that had been a vibrant part of Hollywood's history. The site underwent various developments over the years, including a strip mall and other commercial properties. Preservationists and historians lamented the loss, and efforts were made to commemorate the hotel's significance. Betty White's beloved Brentwood home. Beloved actress Betty White and her husband, Alan Ludden, purchased a charming colonial-style home in Brentwood, Los Angeles, in 1968. The house, built in the 1950s, became their sanctuary for over 50 years. It was a place where they shared love, laughter, and many happy memories. The home was filled with warmth and reflected Betty White's cheerful personality. It was more than just a house. It was a home where they built a life together. The home was a place of warmth and joy, reflecting White's personality. It featured a welcoming living room where she entertained friends and family. The cozy kitchen was a place where she enjoyed simple pleasures like making tea and baking cookies. The tranquil bedrooms were filled with personal touches, including photographs and mementos from her long career. The expansive garden was a haven for White's numerous pets, showcasing her deep love for animals. She was known to have dogs, cats, birds, and even a parrot named Alvin. During her years in Brentwood, Betty White's career flourished. She became famous for her roles on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, where she played Sue Ann Nivens, and The Golden Girls, where she portrayed Rose Nyland. She won multiple Emmy Awards and became a beloved figure in American television. She was known for her sharp wit, comedic timing, and warm personality. After her husband's death in 1981, White continued to live in the home, cherishing the memories they had built together. She became an advocate for animal welfare and was involved with various charities, including the Los Angeles Zoo and the Morris Animal Foundation. After Betty White's passing in December 2021 at the age of 99, the Brentwood home was sold with the understanding that it would be demolished. Despite fans' hopes to preserve it as a tribute, the house was torn down in 2022. Personal items and pieces of the home, like the bright yellow front door, were saved and cherished by those close to her. Comedian Chelsea Lynn acquired the front door and planned to install it in her own home. The demolition marked the end of an era for those who admired Betty White and her legacy. It was a poignant moment for fans who felt a personal connection to the actress. Proceeds from the sale of the home were donated to animal charities, honoring White's lifelong dedication to animal welfare. Though the physical home is gone, Betty White's legacy lives on through her contributions to entertainment and her philanthropic efforts. She's remembered as a pioneer in television and a beloved figure who brought joy to millions. Her work with animals and her warm spirit continue to inspire people around the world.